Hello again, everyone. This is Rock Gabar, here as always, seeking the truth. My video topic for today will be addressing the so-called holiday of Valentine's Day. Why do we celebrate it? What does it symbolize? And who does it give honor to? Most people just assume that Valentine's Day is a day of love filled with emotions of joy and excitement meant to show love and affection for your partner. Few people truly know and understand the origin of this day and what it represents. Just like most holidays celebrated in today's society, the origins of Valentine's Day can be traced back to pagan practices and traditions of ancient Rome. The Roman Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints by the name of Valentine, all of whom were killed on or around February 14th. One legend depicts Valentine as a priest in Rome around 270 AD. During this time, the Emperor Claudius II actually outlawed marriage for his soldiers because he viewed women as a distraction to war. This Saint Valentine went against the emperor's orders and performed secret marriage ceremonies for soldiers. When the emperor discovered what Valentine was doing, he had Valentine imprisoned and then sentenced to death. According to legend, while Valentine was in prison, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter, who visited him frequently. Before his death, he wrote her love letters signed "From Your Valentine." This is where the origin of today's Valentine's cards actually comes from. While some people believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in February to commemorate the anniversary of Valentine's death, it actually was done in an effort to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia, also known as the Festival of Sexual Licenses. It wasn't until 494 AD that Pope Gelasius I changed the name of Lupercalia to the Feast of Purification, then to Valentine's Day around 498 AD. Regardless of the name, Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to the Roman god named Lupercus, who was also known as Faunus. This day also honored the twin brothers Romulus and Remus, who founded ancient Rome. To begin the festival, Roman priests would gather at a sacred cave where the infants Romulus and Remus were believed to have been nursed by a female wolf. There, the priests would sacrifice goats and a dog. They would then strip the goat's hide into thin strips called a febra. This is where the month February gets its name from. The priest would then dip the febra into the blood of the sacrificed animals and then run through the streets naked while slapping women with these bloody thongs. Roman women embraced this action because they believed it to make them more fertile in the coming year. Later in the day, all the young women in the city would write their names on a small piece of paper known as a billet and place it in a big urn. The young men would each draw a name from the billet box and become paired with that woman for sexual games that would happen all throughout Rome. Even after the festival was over, these couples would remain sexual partners for the remainder of the year, and oftentimes these matches resulted in marriage. As we can see, the original nature of Lupercalia is nothing more than a festival filled with bloody sacrifices, crazy sex rituals, and giving people the freedom to fornicate as much as they want outside of the confines of marriage. Now that we know the origins of why and how Valentine's Day was celebrated, let's look at the key figure idolized around this day. Today, when you mention Valentine's Day, most people think of a childlike archer by the name of Cupid. In Roman mythology, Cupid was the son of Venus that flew around shooting unsuspecting people and other gods with its arrows that caused people to either have uncontrolled desires of love or feelings of intense aversion, which is a strong dislike to something or someone. Long before the Romans worshipped Cupid, the Greeks worshipped the same god under the name Eros, who was the son of Aphrodite. Before the Egyptians worshipped him as Horus. who was the son of Isis. And before that, the Babylonians worshipped him as Tammuz, the son of Semiramis. This is the same Tammuz that is mentioned in the Bible in Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 14. Now, what about the Roman god named Faunus, which Lupercalia actually is in honor of? Long before the Romans worshipped Lupercus, the Greeks worshipped the same god under the name Pan. Before that, the Egyptians worshipped him as Osiris. And before that, the Babylonians worshipped him as Nimrod. This is the same Nimrod that is mentioned in the Bible in Genesis chapter 10, verse 9. All throughout the Bible, both Nimrod and Tammuz were worshipped as Baal. So this so-called holiday of love that so many people are excited to celebrate is actually in honor of the very God that the Most High punished Israel for worshiping. Even the name Valentine correlates back to Baal. Valentine comes from the Latin word valens, which means strong, powerful, or mighty. This is a play on words correlating Valentine to be the strong or mighty hunter named Nimrod that rebelled against the Most High. Now, what about the famous heart shape used today that looks absolutely nothing like a human heart at all? In actuality, the heart shape is meant to represent a woman's genitalia or sexual organs, such as a female's buttocks, her pubic mound, or a spread vulva. It is very common in pagan culture to mix sexuality with symbolism. Even the name heart itself is linked to the pagan god known as Baal. The word for heart used by the Babylonians is the word Baal. In the Strong's Concordance, it's number H1079, and it means mind or heart. The exact same word is used for a god that the Babylonians worshipped by the name Baal. In the Strong's Concordance, it's number H1078, and it means Lord, a chief Babylonian deity. With all that, I'll leave you with one scripture. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9, and it reads, "The heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" So, I will encourage everyone to stay away from this evil and wicked day, and not to be swayed by our emotions that may be tied to this holiday or other people that may choose to celebrate it. Now, obviously, because this is not a holy day that's mentioned in the Bible, there are not necessarily a lot of scriptures that I can go into to go over this information. But as always, I encourage everyone to always do your own research on the origins of this holiday and what it represents, and you will come probably to the same conclusion that I did. Again, I want to thank you for watching, and remember to always seek the truth. Shalom.